Alright, calm down, Rambo wannabes. You think this is impressive? You think those 10 measly kills and a chopper gunner make you god amongst men? Let me tell you something, Sunshine. That was about as exciting as watching paint dry in a rusty shed in Doncaster. This, my friends, is the state of Call of Duty these days. Everyone's a walking highlight reel, prancing about map like they're auditioning for Olympics of point and click. Newsflash, folks. Real skill ain't about fancy editing or racking up kill streaks on a map you ain't memorised since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. No, sir. Real skill is about grit, determination and ability to navigate a battlefield that's more chaotic than a hen night in Magaluf after a free bar offer. It's about surviving storm of bullets, questionable hit detection, a matchmaking system that seems determined to place you against esports champions every other bloody game. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a grumpy old git who peaked back in days of proper Call of Duty, where you had to earn your kill streaks, not get them handed to you on a silver platter with a participation trophy on side. Or maybe there's something else at play here, something sinister lurking beneath polished surface of new breed of Call of Duty. Maybe, just maybe, dreaded EOMM has softened you lot up more than a week in a jacuzzi. That's right, folks. We're going to be diving headfirst into murky waters of engagement-optimised matchmaking, an algorithm that might just be holding you back from your true Call of Duty potential. So strap yourselves in, grab a brew and get ready for some straight talking, because on this channel, we don't do sugarcoating, we do good stuff. Alright, let's address elephant in room, shall we? Engagement Optimized Matchmaking, also known as EOMM. That delightful piece of code that supposedly keeps you engaged in Call of Duty. Now they'll tell you it's all about keeping things fair, making sure everyone has a good time. But let me tell you something, Sunshine. That's a bigger pile of you-know-what than a farmyard after a particularly enthusiastic cow. EOMM in reality is a glorified participation trophy dispenser. It throws you bone after bone, a lucky kill streak here, a suspiciously convenient power-up there, all to make you feel like you're improving, like you're on the cusp of greatness. But here's kicker. It's all a carefully constructed illusion. See, that frustration you feel when you get stomped by a team that seems to predict your every move, that's EOMM keeping you hooked. That's algorithm dangling carrot just out of reach. It wants you to keep playing, keep grinding, because hey, maybe next time you'll get that lucky kill streak again and feel like a champion. But here's truth, folks. Real skill comes from overcoming challenges, from adapting to situations that aren't always in your favour. EOMM shields you from that, cocoons you in a world of false accomplishment. It's like training wheels for grown men, and frankly, it's insulting. Don't believe hype. Look at your stats. Take a good look. Are those numbers a true reflection of your abilities, or are they the result of a system carefully manipulating your experience? Maybe it's time to tear off those training wheels. Step outside of EOMM comfort zone and see what you're truly made of. Might be tough. You might get stomped a few times. But hey, at least you'll know victories you earn are real, not some participation trophy handed out by a manipulative algorithm. And let's talk about kill streaks, folks. Those shiny little rewards for getting a few measly kills. Back in the day, you had to work your backside off for a chopper gunner. Now it seems like everyone and the grandma is raining death from above after a couple of eliminations. Don't get me wrong, kill streaks can be fun, but they shouldn't be be-all and end-all. There shouldn't be a crutch that masks lack of real skill. Learnt maps, mastering recoil patterns. That's what separates wheat from chaff, not who can call it most overpowered nonsense quickest. And then there's weapons, blooming lasers that require all aiming skill of a toddler pointing at a bouncing castle. Where's challenge in that? Where's satisfaction about playing your opponent with a well-placed shot from a weapon that actually requires some control? Call of Duty is turning soft, folks. It's rewarding mediocrity, and it's creating a generation of players who think a good old-fashioned gunfight is a thing at past. Remember days when a well-placed grenade or a perfectly timed flank could win you a game? When map knowledge and tactical awareness were more important than who had fanciest kill streak or most overpowered gun? Maybe it's time to go back to basics. Maybe it's time to ditch crutches and rediscover true skill that made Call of Duty great. What do you say? Up for a challenge? Now let's have a look at new breed of Call of Duty players, shall we? All sunshine and rainbows skipping through battlefields with big old bag of virtual participation trophies. Where's grit? Where's competition? Where's good old fashioned trash talk that used to make Call of Duty lobbies more toxic than a bin overflowing with last week's Vindaloo? Don't get me wrong, a bit of sportsmanship is a good thing, but come on now lads. Where's fire in your bellies? A well-timed get good scrub after a particularly impressive flank? That's what made Call of Duty lobbies sing. That's what separated victors from victims. These days, everyone gets pat on back and a virtual cookie. You win, you get a GG. You lose, you get a GG. It's all so beige. Where's passion? Where's rivalry that makes you want to crush your opponent into digital dirt? Look, a bit of healthy competition is a good thing. It pushes you to improve, to strive to be better. It's participation trophy generation. They'll never know the satisfaction of a hard-earned victory, sting of a well-deserved defeat, the thrill of talking smack to your opponent after a particularly epic duel. Maybe a bit of trash talk ain't such a bad thing after all. Maybe it's spice that keeps Call of Duty interesting. Thing that separates the game from a participation ceremony at a primary school playground. What do you say? You up for a bit of friendly competition? You up for some good old-fashioned trash talk? Let's see if we can get these lobbies burning with competitive fire once again. Alright, you've heard me rants, you've seen evidence, and maybe, just maybe, you're starting to agree with this grumpy old git. But what now? How do we break free from EOMM bubble and rediscover true skill that made Call of Duty great? Well, fret not, my loyal viewers, because Scotty McG's here to show you the way. First things first, ditch crutches. Stop relying on killstreaks and overpowered weapons as a crutch for your lack of skill. Learn maps, folks. Learn layouts, flanking routes and power positions. Knowledge is power, and in Call of Duty, map knowledge is the difference between dominating battlefield and getting spawn trapped like headless chicken. Next, get to know your weapons. Master recoil patterns. Understand strengths and weaknesses of each gun. Practice, practice, practice. There's no substitute for hard graft, folks. You wouldn't expect to win a marathon without putting in training miles, would you? Same goes for Call of Duty. Finally, teamwork makes dream work. Don't be a lone wolf Rambo wannabe. Communicate with your teammates, coordinate strategies, work together as a unit. A well-oiled squad will stomp a pub-stomping team every single time. There you have it, folks. Good old-fashioned way to get good in Call of Duty. It takes effort, it takes dedication, but rewards are tenfold. Satisfaction of an hard-earned victory. Respect of your teammates. Ability to talk smack with your chest puffed out. That's what Call of Duty is all about. Are you ready to ditch EOMM training wheels and step into arena of true competition? Are you ready to rekindle flame of Call of Duty greatness? And play something else, because Call of Duty just don't have it anymore. Alright, folks. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about good old days of Call of Duty, days before EOMM and participation trophies. Remember, real skill comes from overcoming challenges, from pushing yourself to do better. Don't let algorithm hold you back. Get out there, grind, practice, and show everyone what you're truly made of. Here's to classic Call of Duty. Games filled with grit, determination, and a healthy dose of trash talk. Now, before I get all sentimental in my old age, let's get this channel growing. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts and gaming stories. Might just feature them on the channel. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.